afternoon. It's my fourth and final live video for this week, and today we're talking about cleansing, why you should cleanse, particularly why we use doTERRA's cleanse, and how to get involved in January. My kids are home from school, so hopefully they stay quiet. They're already being loud. So for those of you that have kids, you're probably now officially on Christmas break, or if you get some time off for your job. So congratulations on that. I hope that goes well for you. We've had a little bit of fighting, but so far so good. So I know we don't want to talk about cleansing too much because we haven't even had Christmas yet, right? And that's when you eat all the good stuff. If you're jumping on, say hi. Thanks for being on here. If you're watching on a replay, type in replay so I know that you saw this. So I know we don't want to get too Debbie Downer, right, about having to talk about cleansing, but most of us, as we go through December and eating all the good things and, you know, maybe drinking more than you usually do, eating more than you usually do, a lot of us are like, oh, it's fine. Hey, Pamela, thanks for saying hi. Hey, Vanessa. I will get serious about my diet in January, or I'm going to do a cleanse in January, that kind of thing, right? So it's a good plan. It's a good plan. It's a good way to kick off the year with kind of some restoration, cleaning house inside. Hey, Larita. And so that's a really common thing, right, is to do a cleanse in January. So let's talk about why we should. You probably have heard that gut health is a big deal. Thankfully, as a culture, we're finally starting to catch on to this. We've heard for years, you know, I think they say 70% of your immune system is in your gut. But what I'm constantly trying to educate people on, what we are finally waking up to as a culture, is that so much of the things we suffer with come from gut health. So for example, yay, I'm glad you're here. So for example, food allergies or allergies to anything, right? Why are people allergic to carrots and apples and turkey and things that are healthy, right? Why are they having an immune response? Because that's really all that allergies are, is an immune response. Same thing with eczema and psoriasis. Why do some people have breakouts of itchy, scaly, terrible skin, right? It's not genetic. Maybe you inherited genetic things that make you unable to detox or unable to handle chemicals like other people do, or you have certain type of skin, like more sensitive skin, but you didn't inherit eczema or psoriasis. Now, you might have inherited really poor gut health from your mother, and that's what happened to me. So when in my second pregnancy, I had kidney stones, and I was on antibiotics for months. I had a kidney stone. I ended up passing it, almost died from infection. I mean, didn't almost die. I had a very serious life-threatening infection from passing it. Thankfully, antibiotics took care of that. So I was on antibiotics. They put me on for the rest of my pregnancy. And back then, I had no clue that that was wiping out all my good bacteria. So when you have a vaginal birth, your baby goes through the birth canal, and they actually have matching bacteria to you as far as good and bad. And I basically was not passing on any good bacteria, either through the birth canal or through my breast milk, because I barely had any left because I was on antibiotics for like 4 months. I had no idea what this would do to me. I continue to fight that battle, and he is 14. And that's not the only reason, but it's part of our story and why he actually ended up neurologically behind, missing major reflexes, because he had no good bacteria in his gut. And so we had thrush for 8 months, fighting it on and off, right? I did not know that that was related to antibiotics. I think I, around that time, figured that out. Ended up having to take diflucan, which is super hard on your liver, continue to have to do a lot of work to keep my liver happy. I don't know if that's why or not, but you can see how this is one of those like snowballs rolling down the mountain, right? Getting bigger and bigger and bigger when we start taking antibiotics. So overuse of antibiotics kills our good bacteria, causes that balance that's God created in our gut and in our body systems to be out of balance. So we kill off the good, the bad takes over, we get yeast infections, athlete's foot, thrush, fatigue, brain fog. If you Google candida symptoms, you can learn about those and see how you measure up, see if those are things that you can relate to. Okay, so what does this have to do with food allergies? So the way that the doctor explained it to me, back when my son was, I think he was 7, he still was not able to learn to read. We homeschooled him. He was finally over most of his speech issues, but we had been working on them for 5 years. And he was like, this is all related to the antibiotics you took when you were pregnant. And I was just like, what? You're kidding me. So anyways, one of the ways he explained it is that your gut has a lining, your stomach and all the things that are involved in that process. And it can break down from being unhealthy, from different factors. And so the things you're eating all the time actually can leak out a little bit. It's called leaky gut syndrome, if you heard of that, into your body where they're not supposed to be, right? They're out of bounds. And so your body says, obviously we're unhealthy, something's going on, and they decide that that food that's leaking out into your body, this is totally like me, not a scientist, explain this, okay? So if you're a scientist or a doctor, I apologize. But this is how I understood it. They form an immune response, like those are the invaders, right? So my son ate, he ate almond butter and jelly sandwiches on whole wheat bread all the time, and crackers and all these things that had wheat. He had almonds almost every day and eggs almost every day. Guess what he was allergic to? Those 3 things, because he was eating them, he had leaky gut, they were leaking into his body was forming an immune response, okay? So that's one reason that people react to food. The other reason, like, I guess as a culture, we just don't really think, why am I allergic to something that's healthy? Like, you know, I mean, it's one thing to have pollen blow up your nose, right? But why do some people die if they eat apples? That doesn't make any sense. Or really any kind of healthy food we shouldn't be allergic to. And all has to do with that imbalance in our gut and gut health. So when people come to me and they're like, what oil should I use for my eczema or my psoriasis or whatever it is that's breaking out on the skin, it's always internal. And people don't like that answer as much because you can use oils. You can absolutely use oils topically. They are amazing. They will soothe the body, soothe the skin. They might even clear it up completely. But for most people, it goes down so much deeper. And so we need to go in and clean house. And the older we get, the more chemicals we've been exposed to. This can be environmental things you can't help, right? When I walk outside my house, I cannot help what I breathe in the air because of pollution and whatever, pesticides and farmers and whatever. In our home, they say is more toxic typically inside the home than out. So this would be things like air freshener. Oh my gosh, if you put air freshener, just throw it in the trash. Air freshener, Febreze, candles, Scentsy, fragrance in your hair products, skin products, whatever, right? So we layer and layer and layer and layer and layer, and this puts a heavy burden on our bodies. So the older we get, the more of these exposures we've had, and the harder it is on our bodies to bounce back from them, to cleanse, to flush toxins out, the more toxic we get. And so the more important it is to clean house and do a cleanse. I hope that makes sense. Ask questions if I'm not making sense, and say hi when you jump on. I love seeing who's on here, seeing my doTERRA friends on here. Excuse me. And so it is really important to pay attention to our gut health. And one of the major signs of this is how often you go to the bathroom, number 2. All right. So a lot of cleanses will jump. People say, I don't want to cleanse. I don't want to be in the bathroom all day, and I don't want to be sick. Right. So what happens is if you jump in and start taking something that kills all the bad bacteria and it dies, and your body's not functioning correctly to flush it out, where does it go? It stays inside of you, and you get sick. We call this a die-off. And so the candida, we have candida in our body at all times. So probably, I don't think anyone's ever candida free, but it's whether it's all about balance, right? So if candida is in balance, you have good bacteria, candida's under control, then you're fine. When it gets out of control, oh, you have a yeast infection. Okay, take probiotics, heal your body, whatever. Take antibiotics, you have a yeast infection. Or whatever it is. Forgetfulness, brain fog, even depression is linked to gut health very closely. For those of you who don't know, I'm kind of all over the place right now because I actually get excited about talking about this. Not poop. As a mom of 5, I've had enough poop in my life, but I get excited about gut health and making changes. So I'm going to show you, for those of you who don't know, this is one of the pictures, but I've lost 80 pounds, and I've lost more than that since that after picture, but detox was a huge part of my weight loss, okay, because I can't just change what I eat. My body was full of toxins and junk, and I needed to clean it out. And the reason I'm telling you this is because one of the huge things that happened was my depression went away. And I wasn't depressed like I was crying all around, you know, laying around the house crying, because I have a great husband, great kids, I have the most amazing job ever doing doTERRA, and get to travel and get to work with the most amazing people. I wasn't laying around crying. I just had no energy or desire to do anything. And then I would lay in bed feeling guilty that I didn't have a desire to do anything because I had such a good life. That went away when I worked on cleansing my body and detoxing. So I think I lost a point somewhere in there. So what a lot of cleanses do is they just go in and kill everything off, and then you get sick. Or they think that by just like making you poop your brains out that you will be cleansed. Do not come in here, I'm doing a video. Thank you. That was number one. So the really cool thing about doTERRA's cleanse that makes it different, so get to the point here, y'all, is that it has a prep phase. So it's 10 days of prep, 10 days of kill the bad guys, and 10 days of restoration and restoring good bacteria and all that kind of stuff. So phase one involves several supplements. So the entire time you are taking Terrazyme, and I'm going to tell you more about how you can learn more about all these products. I'm just going to kind of glaze over them, but this is a digestive enzyme, helps break down your food. Okay, so especially if you're eating food that's hard to digest, meat, processed foods, things like that, gluten and dairy, which you shouldn't be if you're trying to heal your gut, but if you are, and even if you're eating anything cooked, you need to take enzymes, takes the weight off of your body, and then your body can put that energy into something else that's more helpful. Okay, so we're going to take that the whole entire time. And take the Lifelong Vitality Pack. I've done videos on this before. I talked about it in my wellness live this week, but it's a whole food vitamin, omega-3s, and alpha CRS, which is antioxidants, and basically helps you with achy, cranky, sore, restless kind of feelings. And so that gives you this foundation of health. You take that the whole 30 days. You take lemon oil the whole 30 days internally. Again, if you have questions, hey, Rachel, so glad you're on here. Feel free to put them in there, and I'll try to remember to check them here. Lemon internally, this is a natural way to very gently cleanse your body. And so do not listen. People get all worked up sometimes about taking oils internally. I've been using oils internally for 7 years, almost every single day. And I have my liver and kidneys checked. I have 2 of them, all the time because of different health issues, and they are 100% fine. My naturopath, both of my naturopaths support use of pure therapeutic grade essential oils like doTERRA, not crappy stuff in the store. So you will take this, drink it in stainless or glass the whole time. It helps flush out petrochemicals, helps very gently cleanse you, does not cause any kind of digestive issues, okay? Gosh, his hair is just out of control. All right, so we're taking that the whole time. And then in that 10 days, we're using our Zendocrine products. This is like gold right now in doTERRA. If you're wondering, this cannot be purchased right now outside of the kit. And I don't know how long those kits are going to last, the Cleanse and Restore kit. What happened is the batches that were coming in are not passing doTERRA's quality standards. So they rejected them. There was one small batch that qualified, excuse me, and they're putting it into kits. So you can't buy this by itself right now. I'm treasuring it. But this is an herbal complex with all these amazing things for your digestion, for getting your pipes cleaned out, okay, making sure that you're having regular bowel movements. It's very gentle. It's not going to put you in the bathroom forever. And then it has herbs like dandelion root and what's the one, milk thistle, that support your liver and kidneys, right? Because we want our body to feel supported before we go in and start killing off bad things in our body. So we use these for the first 10 days. It preps our body for what's coming. You do not ever start phase 2 unless you're going number 2 at least once a day. Ideally, it's 3 times a day after every meal. That's what they say. I would not know. But there's other things we can do to make sure, excuse me, that you are going regularly before we go in and kill the bad guys, because it's like starting a fire with your chimney closed, right? We don't want to do that. We want to start a fire with our chimney open and flush it all out. And that's a really, really important thing about doTERRA's. Okay, so phase 2, we're going to stop taking the soft gels. That's what this is, by the way, the soft gels for Zendocrine oil, with oils to support cleansing and your cleansing organs. And then phase 2 is kill the bad guys with GX Assist. So this is oregano, melaleuca, lemon, lemongrass, peppermint, and thyme. And this is what goes in and kills off the candida and different things, okay? So that's why we want to make sure we're pooping and that these bad guys then are flushed out. We'll continue to take everything except for this. So this is phase 1. Switch to this soft gel for phase 2. If it's your first time cleansing or you're really toxic health-wise, like you have a lot of health issues going on, you might want to start with just 1 a day for your first round of cleansing, see how you do. Sometimes it can just cause, not like in the bathroom all day, but just stomach cramps. That happened to me the first time, it never happened to me again. And I probably took more than 1 because that's kind of how I am. All right, so after those 10 days of killing off bad guys, then we go to phase 3, which is renewing and restoration. We're gonna stop taking those. We're gonna take DDR Prime soft gels, which I couldn't find because somebody probably used them all. That has frankincense and clove and all these, and lemongrass and all these really good antioxidants to restore, and then we're gonna add in probiotics, all right? So what you don't wanna do is, kill off too much and not restore. We're gonna take antibiotics. Okay, question about breastfeeding. You do not want to do this cleanse when you're breastfeeding. There's gentle things you can do because it's a stress on your body already to nourish your baby. There's not evidence at this point, gone back and forth, but there's not evidence at this point that you're going to cleanse bad things into your breast milk, but it might be too hard on your body to cleanse when you're nursing. So you can do things like take Terrazyme with every meal, take Zendocrine, totally safe on nursing, take probiotics. You can use lemon oil, but you just don't want to go in and do a bunch of GX Assist. Now, I did take this when I was nursing because I didn't know, and everybody lived. But in general, don't recommend cleansing when you're breastfeeding. Thank you. That was a good question. Oh, that was Chelsea's question too. Okay, so there you go. All right, so then we're going to take these probiotics. We're going to continue to take them every day. And then you can do this cleanse quarterly or whatever works for you. By the way, the Alito Bearcats are going to football state champions, Division 5. Today, trying for our 8th time, hence my really crazy earrings. We're going to be a sea of orange cheering on the football team tonight. We're pretty excited. There's only 3,300 people in the city of Alito, and so for them to be going up for 8th time state champion in football, it's pretty cool. My son's on JV. He'll be there on the sidelines cheering for them, so that is why I'm wearing this crazy shirt. Okay, so that is the cleanse. It's broken into 3 sets of 10 days. Don't do it without the prep. That's so important. So here's what I wanted to end with today. I told you this would be a short one. Every year, if you're on my team and you're in Empowered in Our Homes, every year we do a cleanse group together. You are required to have these products. If you have everything but Zendocrine, that's fine because you can't get it, or you can buy the kit to get it. You can add in some of these herbs if you want. So we do 30 days of cleansing together. I get on and talk about food. We share what we're eating for breakfast. We share what we're eating for dinner. We talk a lot about diet. You do not have to change your diet to do the cleanse, but it's highly recommended because if you're literally like eating ho-hos and ding-dongs and feeding the sugar bugs, we call them, you're feeding the candida. I'm sorry, I have 5 kids. I talk in kid language all the time. I'm trying not to. But if you are feeding sugar and candida while you're also trying to kill it, you're kind of wasting your money. So ideally, you make some diet changes, and we're going to talk about all those options. We go in depth to every supplement and why and how and all that kind of stuff, and then it's just a moral support group for 30 days. So if you're on my doTERRA team, we do that every January. We're doing it January 21st start date this year. Because I'll be in Hawaii with doTERRA, visiting Sandalwood Farms. I'm so excited. And I will be eating right when I'm gone, but I won't be able to post. So I want to be able to be engaged and involved with you guys when we're doing this cleanse. So what I'm debating this year, and if you are not on my doTERRA team, I'd love to hear your feedback either in the comments or privately, is opening it up to other teams. And there would be 2 options. I can open it up to just whoever and everyone, and I won't be able to check like if you even have the products or not. And I kind of don't feel like this would be super fair to my team. I don't want it to be huge and crazy, and I want it to be more intimate because we're going to be talking about bodily functions and food and maybe even before and after pictures if people want to, that kind of thing. The other option is that people not on my doTERRA team could join for a small fee. We're thinking around $29. If you just don't have a cleanse group on your team that you can be part of, then that would be an option. So if you are not in Empowered in Our Homes, then in my team group, not on my doTERRA team, then let me know what you think. If you'd be interested in joining for a small fee to be part of our group, let me know. I'm going to think about that for a little bit longer here and decide after Christmas. Hopefully you have really awesome support on your team and an upline running a cleanse group, or you can go through doTERRA. You can find information on my blog too, healinginourhomes.com, and lots of other resources out there to learn how to do it. But if you're really wanting that moral support, we have such a good time every year. We have the coolest results happen. People, yes, they lose weight, but they also learn about their bodies. They learn about food. They learn about our supplements. And if you have a team, this is a great thing to learn about and experience. You have to do it yourself, right, before you go and ask other people to do it. So let me know what you think about that. And if you're on my team, let me know what you think too about opening it up to other people. We'd probably cap that number somewhere as well. So I just want it to be as helpful as possible, and y'all are my #1 priority. So I don't see any other questions, so I hope that helps, gives you a little insight into the cleanse. You can buy that whole cleanse. It's called the Cleanse and Restore Kit from doTERRA. If you're not a member and you don't have a doTERRA friend you're working with, message me and I can help you purchase that kit to jump on our cleanse group in January. If someone invited you to this, then make sure you check with them. And I just put my earring back in and it's ridiculous already. Check with them to see about getting set up and doing your cleanse. So highly recommend it. Enjoy your holidays. Don't overdo it, right? Moderation, so that you don't have extra work to do in January. And then plan to do some cleansing, and you will feel fantastic. You will feel so much better. We've had the coolest results, and I know personally, everything from my mental health, my skin, my weight loss, everything has benefited from detoxing. And we're going to talk about other things besides just the cleanse that you can add in as part of your detox wellness lifestyle. So thanks for being on. Hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas, and go Bearcats. Texas football all the way. Have a good one, you guys.